Warm welcome to this special episode of Digital India Leadership Series. My name is Anoop Verma. Today, our guest for this special episode is Mr. Sanjeev Malhotra. He is the Chief Executive Officer at MeitY Nasscom Center of Excellence, which is a deep tech innovation ecosystem comprising startups, innovators, enterprises, and several government initiatives. The focus of MeitY Nasscom Center of Excellence is on solving real-world challenges, utilizing technologies like IoT, AI, data science, big data, machine learning, robotics, and research. The topic of today's conversation is the potential for growing the AI ecosystem in India. Welcome, Mr. Malhotra.
Thank you. Good to be here.
My first question is that the global AI ecosystem has been disrupted by the launch of China's DeepSeek. Some experts are saying that the AI flight is already off and DeepSeek is India's final call to show up at the boarding gate. So how does India make a mark in an AI ecosystem that is dominated by two superpowers like America and China?
Right. The AI ecosystem has been evolving ever since the world started taking notice of AI when the Chat GPT was launched. Right. That's when most of the world noticed the advent of AI. While AI has been in place for long, but Chat GPT was the time when the entire world got onto it. And DeepSeek definitely has been a turning point where they have made the world notice that, it is not the billions of dollars you always need to invest to have your own models. But at the same time, I do not want the whole discussion to be centered around LLMs. Well, DeepSeek may have, put a lot of people out of deep sleep, but that does not mean this is the only element that we need to be competing on. When we talk about from Indian context, what it means for India, I think in India we have had a lot of good work that is happening in a multiple different parts of the AI or multiple different domains of AI. And I'll come back to this LLM part. The part which is we are focusing on is the applications of AI. How do we use these LLMs for developing applications in different domains of whether it is in manufacturing or it is in healthcare or it is in agriculture and so on. And there we can use some of these building blocks, whether it is from Google or it is from Meta or it is Chat GPT or DeepSeek. And our developers or our startups in particular, I would say, have been using some of these open source models to develop applications. And that's been our strength. And that's the area that I personally believe, and as an organization, we have been working closely with some of the government organizations also. And we believe we want to be moving ahead quickly when it comes to taking advantage of these developments and building blocks. And that's where the infrastructure required is not that heavy. Well, to develop some of these LLMs and models, you need a lot of infrastructure. When I say infrastructure, I'm talking of GPUs in particular, the compute power. And for developing these applications, we need moderate amount of infrastructure, which we already have. Or you can use some of this cloud infrastructure also. So that's where we stand. And I think, and government has already started call for applications to develop our own LLM, our own DeepSeek movement, as to say. It is good to have that. It is good to have the grasp and grip on that technology. And a lot of applications have been received and MeitY is on top of it at this point of time. And a lot of GPUs have been procured also. So this problem of challenge has been taken care also in the latest move by MeitY. And probably next couple of months, we will see good things coming out from this effort.
What are the challenges in developing this kind of AI? And why were we not able to, come up with something like DeepSeek earlier, before that? Because if China can do it with such a small amount of money, then India is also spending an equivalent amount of money on AI research, on AI development, and we have good collaborations with the Western countries as well.
Right. And we have a lot of Indians who are working abroad in some of these and working in research institutes. So there are a couple of, I wouldn't say any particular reasons as such. I think we were little, we have been on little, taken some time to get on the infrastructure in place. As I said, even while they claim it is such a small amount of money, it may not be that small. They may not have counted the cost of infrastructure in it. They still are using 2,000 GPUs as they claim, and it could be higher also. So, in my opinion, we have that in place now, and also I believe the research work they do and the money they invest in research, which does not have short-term output or short-term results. I think that's where we need to be focusing a little bit more on, because the amount of research in the universities, the PhDs they produce in their top institutes like Berkeley's and Stanford's, I think they spend 5 years working on something and with the hope they will get something. And that's what pays off in the end. I think these are also important things. Apart from infrastructure, I would say the research effort is very important, whether it is this or anything else. And not everything in research is bound to get you some output, but they have a fairly high level of effort there. I think we can do a little bit more of it. But again, we also have it. It's just that we need a little more focus on it. There are a lot of scholars in India as well. So I wouldn't totally say that that could be the pure reason. It's just a matter of getting a little bit of that direction. And now we have it. So the good thing is we have it. Now I would focus more on that point, as to say, though we may have started little, we have been a little behind on that, but that does not mean that we'll not have it.
Yeah, one unique thing about DeepSeek is China is home to some of the largest IT and electronics firms in the world. But DeepSeek has been created by a startup, virtually unknown startup. It might have been supported by the Chinese government and by the bigger players in China. But on the whole, the credit is going to a startup for producing this product. So India also has some very large IT companies, electronics companies, and startups. So where do you see the potential for creating AI in India? Will it come from the government based research or from the private sector?
Right. It will need combination of both. So government definitely can help in putting some money in creating the infrastructure. No startup by itself may be able to put that kind of money in infrastructure. If we can get a reasonable cost usage for that, so that is happening. So that's been one barrier, I would say, if not the only barrier, but that has been one barrier for it. Putting the right compute infrastructure in place. The second one is the amount of, or somebody who has to say that the VC backed ecosystem that Bay Area or that Silicon Valley has, or similarly they may have China. We don't know the not entire details of Chinese development comes out that easily, so we take it for whatever is told to us if we took it at a face value. So they had 2,000 GPUs with them, as they claim, and obviously they have many more researchers working in the university. So that credit I have to give to them also. So these I'm kind of going back to these 2 points, but I think here in India we have also had a lot of good things happening. I think if we look at a program like Bhashini, so we have been focused more on not replicating what Silicon Valley is doing. If you see, Bhashini is a AI-based language translation tool, real-time translation. It's an application of AI. So we are focused on it. Government has backed it, and somebody in the industry is developing it. Even our DeepSeek also, or equivalent or whatever we call it in the end, is backed by the government. It will be done by people in the universities and the startups. So it's going to be a combination of all these things. So universities, startups, and government support, and the VC ecosystem, all of them have to be there. I think these are the elements needed. We do not have that mature VC ecosystem in the country also. If I just say that, nobody will put $500 million on a LLM here in India. So not yet, at least. But we do have significant improvement in the VC funding pattern, if I see. But coming to this level, I think is we are not there yet. So I would say these are the elements which can you can attribute to our not being there at the LLM movement of the world.
And what kind of work is MeitY Nasscom Center of Excellence doing for the AI research and creation of some kind of AI platforms or products?
So for us, focus is on one hand, we work closely with the startups who are engaged in AI development work or AI related work. We work closely with them. We provide them labs and access to infrastructure or access to VC funding and access to some of the industry connects. On the one hand, we are helping incubate some of these AI startups. On the other hand, we work closely with the industry, we work closely with the governments on bringing out applications that can be deployed by them to bring the ease of governance, to bring applications in the industry, in healthcare, logistics. So these are the areas that we focus on, bringing out use cases, sometimes thinking of how it can be applied. So it's our effort is more on applying some of these core technologies or combination of technologies. It is not just AI. There is IoT, there is robotics, there's AR, VR. A lot of these technologies actually work in tandem or confluence of these technologies which make the final solution. End user does not care what technology goes in. End user cares about what you can do for me. So we actually work with some of these people to address some of the challenges and also think what are the newer ways we can apply, how make it easier, cheaper, better for the end user. That is our focus.
What is the success that you have achieved in creating some of the products and services using AI and other emerging technologies?
Lots of successes. I mean, we have had there are more than 400 startups who have been incubated with us. A lot of them have raised millions of dollars of funding, but I will not call that ultimate success. You know, for us, the real happy moment is when some of these solutions that we create actually get adopted by the industry. We work with a lot of companies which are Indian and global, who, for example, will use these solutions to improve the quality of their product. For example, quality inspection. I'll give you just an example. Some of these products actually are industry right now. How does the quality inspection happen? They have a team which will actually visually inspect some of these products. And if they find it okay, well and good. If not, they call it faulty and remove it. But in the age of AI, what we call computer vision, you have cameras and you have some of the other devices which can take image of these products and do it at a pace which humans cannot do, and they can find defects which a human eye cannot catch. It is a significant improvement in the quality just using these technologies. Similarly, in healthcare, we have a lot of examples which I can tell subsequently. But for us, these are the moments which give us the feeling of success and the feeling of happiness. And it is not just a success in our labs, but success in the field, success in the industry, success in the offices. That's the greatest thing for us.
Recently, there was this AI summit in France, Paris, where Honorable Prime Minister was also there. So much of the focus of the discussion from Indian side, it seems, was on the ethical AI, developing an ethical AI framework for global services. Now, what extent is it possible for a technology to be ethical? Because ultimately, it's the human beings who are going to use it. So, are we focusing in the right direction? Should we not be focusing more on the technology and developing products and services? Because the ethical part will come on later once we have the tools, and it will depend on the human beings and the government policies and regulations regarding how it is being implemented.
Right. So you are absolutely right. that is not the most important thing for us. But at the same time, we need to put the framework, because technology is moving at such a rapid pace. The advancements in this AI in particular is happening so fast that after some time we may even lose control for it if we don't have a proper regulation in place. So before that happens, it is important to put some framework and boundaries. And we have our own data protection laws in place now, data privacy and protection. So that is already out by MeitY, which is an important one. How we actually use some of these. How do you protect the data, which is the fundamental input into making an AI? So I think these things are required side by side. While that may not be the first and the foremost thing to do, but that is something in parallel you have to be worried about it. And each country has to have its own framework, because the requirements are slightly different everywhere. So we are on to that path in parallel, but you're right. I think we have to be more focused on developing the real technology, the real applications and real advancement, and be at the forefront. At the same time, be in top of what is it that misuse may happen, because at the end, you hear, I mean, the flip side of digital, we hear about some of the cyber crimes and so on, and we do not want that this goes out of control after some time.
In the recent budget, the Honorable Finance Minister has raised MeitY's budget by about 48%. And a significant allocation has also been made to AI research. I think about 2,000 crore or something to AI mission, or more than that. So, what kind of impact will this increase in funding have on actual AI developments in the country? Should the government be doing more?
See, the India AI mission is very well thought out plan. They have 6 or 7 pillars under that, and where they have tried to address many different things, be it on the infrastructure side, be it on the research side, be it on developing the LLMs, the building blocks, be it on the application side, be it on the funding for the startups. How do we fund some of our startups to come up and grow? So they have taken a very holistic view of things, and all these things have to move in parallel. One sometimes feeds another. So the funding allocated, in my opinion, will definitely provide a push for speedier development on some of these areas. And already I think it's beginning to show effect. And if you some of the call for paper or not expression of interest from people, it is already bringing a lot of interest from people. So I would say it's a good move.
No, Nasscom is one of the most powerful associations of software and electronics industry in the country. So, what is the specific role that Nasscom is playing in driving AI research and advising the government to come up with policies which can lead to a development of a healthy AI ecosystem in the country?
Right. So we have our policy team, separate team, which works with the government, both in devising the startup policies and aiding some of these areas where, they bring out the concerns of the startups. How do we make the funding easier, both from the government side as well as from the other sources, also from the VCs. So Nasscom works with a lot of different ministries in bringing out or removing the roadblocks to the faster and the speedier development. And also we bring the views of our members also. Our member companies are 3,000 member companies across the country, the technology companies, and all of them are working on AI. They have AI incorporated into their strategy in one form or another, because the customers across the world are asking for it. So everybody is moving along on it. And for us, we are also bringing out what are the best practices which industry can take up. So it is not just about startup, but our industry also have to have some best practices, how the agentic AI is changing things. So we have those special interest groups within our organization where we bring the views of our members, and that gets encapsulated in the form of our advisory and our suggestions to the government. So all these things are made smooth because things are evolving. There is no fixed pattern that you can pick up from somewhere else right now. So we all have to be on top of it in terms of learning as well as making suggestions. So far, India has not been, and go back 20 years ago, we have been followers, but now we are trying to be same, if not leaders, at least be among the leaders. One of the leaders, at least in the among the top of the pack when it comes to technology advancement. So there's a big change, and the mindset and the rules will change when you're trying to be among the leaders because you don't have reference points. Earlier you would say, Germany, what is Germany doing? Let's look at that. What Japan doing or US doing? Now we say that, hey, we don't have anybody to look up to. Okay, fine. Some of the real-time things you can look at, but at the same time, you have to evolve your own strategies also. And we are becoming good at it. Let's put it this way. And that's where Nasscom is playing a very important role in bringing the views of the industry from the leading people in the industry, the academia, and also bringing international views from our community, which spreads across the countries. So we are not limited to taking views only from India, but our companies have global presence. Some of the Indian companies have global presence. So we take views from those also. So all that inputs is factored into our advisory.
You earlier mentioned Bhashni. Bhashni is it's a translation software that uses AI to come up, enable, I think in 22 scheduled languages. It offers its translation services. But AI can also be used for agriculture, healthcare, and other, because it's a very large country with a huge population, and the agriculture technology that we are using, it is often said that much of the agriculture is being done by technology that was invented centuries or maybe thousands of years ago. So hardly any there's scope for modernization. So what kind of scope do you see of the role that AI can play in reforming our agriculture, increasing output, and improving our healthcare systems?
Good point. And I would say definitely there is a huge scope for this. And that's what we also focus on, and many other companies are doing. And to give you a simple example, there are areas AI can play a big role in diagnostics, where, for example, X-rays and MRIs. Right now, radiologist has to see the image, write his or her report there, and then we get it after a day. And so now AI systems are making it possible to get an immediate reading of those diagnostics. Of course, it is regulatory issues. We don't take AI report as final, but it does help making the job much faster and more accurate. So anything, a biopsy, for example, read by AI and the doctor at the same time. So chances are, if doctor misses it, AI will catch it. If AI misses it, doctor will catch it. And right now, that is how it is moving. So it is making a huge difference when it comes to that. But when it comes to doing some of these screenings in remote areas, see, that's where the biggest impact comes, because in remote areas, they don't have access to the urban healthcare infra. Right? They come to cities only when the problem goes out of hand, and for treatment. And some of these diagnostic devices, which can be used by ASHA workers or semi-trained people, and they can actually help detection of cancer, especially in women, when it comes to detecting cervical cancer or breast cancer. These are the areas, if we can have early detection, lives can be saved. And actually, these some of these devices or AI technologies making it possible. We will see more of these things happening as we go along, whether it's reading your ECG or physician being able to do more things in their clinics, rather than depending always on the tests from outside. They can do at least first level of estimation, if not the most accurate one. They will get 80 to 90% accuracy with these devices, which is good enough to do the on-the-spot screening. Similarly, with agriculture, now there is access to so much of satellite data. And of course, not everything is possible to be analyzed by human eye and human mind. So that's where AI comes into play, whether it's factors involving the weather, or it is involving the images from the field, or it is to do with the detection of pest attack. We see images coming from satellite or images coming from drones. Or when it comes to governance, where some of the problems being tackled by the government are in illegal encroachments, which all require human intervention, which is prone to faults, is being done using AI is helping and making that job easier. So, or it is in policing, some of the areas. There is hardly a place which I will say AI will not be useful or impactful. I would have to think the other way around, where can we not use it? That is what it is coming down to. And we'll pretty much see these applications coming there very soon. And some of them are already there. I mean, it's not that these applications the only thing we'll see with time is they will become more accurate, they'll become more intelligent, they'll make job of whether it is doctor or a farmer or it is somebody in government, they will make their job easier and making it faster as well for a lot of people. Yep, that is what we'll see.
One of the issues for a layman, one of the issues in understanding AI phenomena is that it is very difficult to separate hype from the down to earth reality. All sorts of claims. Some people are saying that it might not work so well. The others are saying it might add up to $1 trillion or $500 billion to India's GDP by 2030 or before that. So, what kind of influence, I mean, a realistic assessment of the influence that it can actually have on India's economy and on society? So, what is your view on that?
So it will definitely have an impact. There is no question about it. That to question impact it will have. Now, what we can only thing we can debate is a time period, whether it will have an impact over next 2 years or next 5 years. That is the only thing. If you just go by what internet did to us, just that's a very good parallel if you draw in our mind. When internet came, people were just using to Google things for general information. And then after 6 or 7 years, a real applications started coming. For example, railway booking, right, or airline booking. Now we have forgotten earlier how we used to do it. It is all people think everything is to be done online only. That happened as a result of internet, right? That is what internet brought about. And if we say the change of patterns now, with the advent of AI, chat GPT, a lot of people resort to chat GPT to get answers. A lot of people get their things written there, content coming from there. People are making songs there. People are writing stories there. So a lot of things have already started. And give it another year or so, you will see coming in healthcare where you are, while you meet a doctor, we already have applications, but I'm talking about how quick or when it gets into the mainstreams. So these are the applications. I'm not talking from my imagination, but these are the applications which are working in our labs, where if there is a prescription given by doctor, AI will actually answer all your questions based on the past answers that have been given, because a lot of them are repeat questions from all patients will have similar questions. Supposing you're going to an eye hospital, right? Everybody who comes with some problem in eye or detection of some disorder will have a lot of questions, and AI can answer those questions as opposed to be doctors spending time. Doctor's time is the limitation. So they can ask all kind of questions. So it is starting from there to even doing a first level of diagnosis of your disease, and doctor can validate it after when you talk to him. So these are the type of things that we are heading into. Or when it comes to education, online education was not a concept. If you go back 10, 15 years ago, nobody knew what online education is, but now it is taken as a norm. People are taking classes online and so on, attending universities far away. So give it another 2-3 years, you will be having a personal tutor which is driven by AI, who will tell you exactly, where a person or a child is lacking in his grasp of things. So we'll have personal tutors in the future. So in my opinion, it's a matter of year or two. It will add to, coming to your question of adding trillions of dollars in the economy across the world. Absolutely true. It will add so much productivity to the economy. So GDPs are bound to go higher, whether it is India or other countries. More for other countries, actually, where labor is a big problem for them. So I think we all will see rise in productivity with the AI applications getting more mainstream. So 2 to 5 years, that's maximum.
Have you come up with any research paper on what kind of economic impact AI can have on India's economy? Your Center of Excellence or Nasscom in general?
No, there have been some research papers on that. Yeah, we do have Insights team which does that. I do not have a number on top of my head, but if my safe guess will be in hundreds of billions of dollars, I think we'll gain over a period of time. That will be a very safe statement to make without having to look into any research statement. So this is bound to happen. Internet helped in our productivity gains, so will AI. And I think we're all heading in the right direction.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Malhotra.